We are in for a treat today. I know I'm excited because I am going to be talking with the founder of the skincare brand Alitura. And this brand I absolutely love. Now, you guys all know that I am a skincare enthusiast, so I love a lot of different products. But I have to tell you, Alitura is one of the brands that I actually purchased myself before ever meeting, or even understanding that much about Alitura. I bought it on my own and fell in love. So to me, that means that much more, that when it's a product that you spend your own money on initially is a big deal. So I'm going to bring on Andy, and we're going to get this conversation started. Be prepared because his story is incredible. In fact, why he created this line is going to surprise you. And if you're someone who really loves and is seeking clean beauty that's effective, that's non-toxic, with a beautiful mission behind it, purpose and passion, then you're not going to want to miss this conversation. And if you have questions, please leave them below, and Andy and I will do our best to get to them. So let me see if I can find Andy. This day has flew by. I cannot believe it's Friday already. It's unbelievable. But I did a great little skin treatment this morning. What did I do? I did an ice bath on my face. Oh, here he comes.
How are you?
Awesome.
Good to meet you finally. What's going on? I know.
I feel like I know you.
It's so funny. You were just miles away from me for a little while there in Vegas too. Yeah, I'm in Sedona.
Right now you're in Arizona?
I made the move over here. Have you ever been?
You know what? I have not been to Sedona. I've been all over Arizona, but that is the one place that I should be, considering I'm so, I love all things spirituality. And supposedly it's like the direct pipeline.
Absolutely.
To higher source.
I can't tell you how just overpowering, in the best way, the energy is out here. I know a lot of people talk about that, but it literally did change a lot for me in the best way. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I just came out here for a 3-day weekend just to clear my head from Vegas, right? And I was just exploring on Zillow, like maybe one day down the road living here, found a place that I just couldn't stop scrolling through the images, right? And I just went, I've never seen a home before. So I just went, all right, it's that easy. You can just schedule a meeting, went and saw it the next day, put down an offer the next day, accepted the next day. Just like that, in 4 days, I'm moving to Sedona. And so then I had to go get into the whole, I've never purchased a home before, and found out quickly what that entailed and all that entailed. But I'm right where I'm supposed to be, grateful to be here.
Awesome. The fact that you're a first-time buyer, and considering, talk about serendipitous. I think there's no accidents. I mean, to be a first-time buyer, to have no plan, and for it to happen like that is, it's either pure magic or pure insanity. Yeah. And I like to think
it's maybe a little bit of both. But I mean, as soon as I walked in here, I knew it was mine. I didn't see any other home. It really has changed everything about me in the best way. It's like the universe has put me on the path of where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? I got locked in the entrepreneur mode and just grinding and thinking that was okay. But really, going back, and I want to build a family now, and I have a home. It's like they did it for me. It's really interesting, but I'm all into that. I strongly believe that. And so the spiritual element of this sacred land right where I am is it's right now. It's here. It's happening right now during this conversation. It's a special area, this Sedona, Red Rock. There's just so much beautiful history that I'm finding out more and more about every day.
I think it's interesting because I believe no matter where you are in the world, they say like home is where your heart is, that you can have those experiences. And it's amazing that it happened for you in Sedona, but those experiences can happen in an instant. And I talk about this all the time. It's like when we ditched the hair dye and decided to go gray, you go from, disdain to pure joy in an instant. And it's just that when your heart is ready, when it's just like perfect timing, it can happen anywhere. So it's amazing. And I love the fact you're getting ready to start a family. All of it just works just beautifully. And I believe, the little bit that I know, although, I've been digging a bit, the little bit I know about your product and love, by the way, and your brand, all that, it just seems like it is the perfect fit. And when you talk about everything happening for a reason and the evolution, not just for you, but for your brand. And so I'd love to share your story. I'm sure you're so tired of telling it, but I don't think many of my social media family really know about your brand. So I want them to understand the foundation of why this brand was made. And really, I've got some juicy questions about why your brand is different. What is different and why it's different than other brands out there when we've got products to choose from.
I completely understand. And that's really what got me into this in the beginning. I was to start off way back in, yeah, mid 2000 all the way up until, well, my accident. I was in the entertainment industry and I had this existing, uh,
I knew it. Like, you were adorable. Like, you were so freaking cute. Like, if you weren't like 20 years younger than me, maybe, but you were adorable. So I assumed that maybe you were acting.
I was on Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Hello Ladies, Fox Pitch. I was in, yeah, I mean, I was in the entertainment industry as an actor
Wow.
for quite a while, and I'm still in it, and I may go back, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be, so I don't really think about it too much. But I was, yeah, I was crossing the street March 20th, 2011 after dinner, and I was just looking down at my phone. It's one of those, like, there's not a crosswalk, but a lot of pedestrians. It's lowly lit or dimly lit, and I just lost focus and got hit by a westbound heading Land Rover, hit in the eastbound lane and run over by a Tundra. Both cars pulled over, close cut off me in the middle of the street. I was coming in and out of consciousness, so I remember a little bit of that, but waking up in a Cedars-Sinai ICU bed with my chin. It was a compound fracture. So just beneath right here, beneath my left ear, my jaw was just in pieces. So the resident maxillofacial surgeon, Dr. Rosenberg, he couldn't do the surgery. So we had to find a private guy. Yeah, it was a very bad mandible fracture. So luckily we found Dr. Joseph Berger, bless his heart. He put a titanium plate up top, one on bottom, just to reconstruct the mandible, and 7 broken ribs, collapsed lung. But people don't survive those accidents. So I had a weird little, like, fight or flight, like, not excitement, but just, whoa, like, stunned. And my whole family, just gratitude of surviving that accident, and also.
How long were you in the hospital before you even, just to get out of the hospital?
Days. Yeah. I was in ICU for the first 3 nights, I think, and then they transferred me to another room where just recovering, where the surgery went down, and then just recovering from that. Yeah, right around a little under a week, and then I went back to my 660 square foot apartment in North Hollywood, where I had my whole family with me, though. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it's very rare that my sisters and my mom and dad and brother are all able to be under one small roof, mind you. But it was beautiful, though. I needed that, because my sisters have their families with holidays and things like that. It's tough to get us all together. So it was a beautiful way that brought us all together. And I mean, my ankles, my knees, shoulders, were intact. I knew my job. I mean, I was unrecognizable. That was kind of a difficult thing for a little bit, but at the same time, like, I knew I'd be back, I just took it really.
Was this the majority of the damage was facial?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The ribs and things of that nature, they grow back on their own. Oh, sneezing was a challenge, but yeah, it's just, I had a pre-existing clay mask that I would do while I was acting modeling every Sunday night before a week of auditions, just to look like my pictures. And at that time, like, I would share it with a few of my friends, like, what I was doing, because I was always rosy. I mean, that's the best way. You want to look like your pictures.
In this yourself, when you say, was it your
Absolutely.
own concoction? I mean, and it's interesting because you don't, especially men. I mean, especially a man doing this and sharing it, it's not nearly.
I know,
common,
and
so
that's
fascinating.
I mean, with the athletic background and not wanting to be macho, but it's just kind of, there's a stigma with the guy, not anymore, obviously, but back then I was just kind of hesitant to share my passion for it. I mean, just because, I did a lot of research on this. The first clay mask I did, I think I was 20 or 21, just a bent night. What's that?
How old are you now?
41.
What's your
about to be
age
42
now? I'm 50.
in November. Yeah, grateful to be 41. And it's one of those things where, but I mean, I just kind of hit it. This is back when I had roommates. I think I had Russell, bentonite, kelp, vitamin C, and kaolin at that time. And I wasn't measuring, I was just kind of stupid. It was my thing. Add apple cider vinegar, a little sweet orange oil, lemongrass, and just let it, run into my room, let it dry, run back into the bathroom, rinse it off real quick, and then it was my routine, though. I knew what I was getting every single time, and it made me feel really good. And also look, just like my pictures. And that's what you want to do in front of casting directors. And also, you like feeling good, feel good, you look good, you can exude better energy personally and professionally, and, create that ripple effect if you do it right. And so it's just, universe.
So it started it was your secret concoction. Obviously you had a passion, you were doing the research. You had no background prior to that, though. You were an actor who wanted to look his best. Is that kind of what were you eating in the healthy path of feeding your body as well? Or were you kind of like I was, which was like, a train wreck, doing whatever, but trying your best to look good on the outside?
I'm nowhere near like the level now, just being as precise not over, and that's another thing I adjusted. I was like a 95.5 guy, just strict on the things that I thought were good for me, But I mean, very disciplined, always have been. But I mean, we learn as we grow what works for us. Now I'm big on fasting, whereas back then I would have a huge breakfast, you know what I mean? And then I'd be like crashing by
Me
10 or
too.
11 a.m. And so I was, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I definitely was in the health and wellness industry, like a big time health freak, but nowhere, it just expands and grows every year,
Exactly. So then you were doing that and it was working and you were kind of, doing it privately. How did you take that? You're fast forward to now you've had your accidents, you've been doing the mask. How did this beautiful
So
brand
what I would do back
evolve to
then,
this?
with the algorithms, everybody had eyes on what you were doing. If you did a Facebook Live, thousands of people would join. Remember that? And so back in 2011, 12, 13, I was just sharing my thing, just, oh, here I am doing Facebook Lives on my recovery, what I was ingesting, what I was doing for my skin. I slowly started to lean into that direction. And like this mask had no name, you know what I mean? Just, oh, here's my clay mask. But people could see the recovery. I mean, I was on, yeah, there we go. But it was fun though, like, over, I don't know, the first 3 or 4 weeks, the abrasions were gone. I was documenting this. And so it was just my thing. Never had the intention to start Alitura. But I just kind of wanted to see if people were interested to try this because it was unbelievable what it was doing to my skin very quickly. And then, so I would share, a couple of people would get back to me, a couple of friends of mine were, dancers and friends of friends would start to tell their friends. And I was going over to people's house just with a little backpack of a bamboo bowl, apple cider vinegar, and just a plastic container, my clay mask, just asking for feedback and pictures, to share. And then finally, Mary Halls from Alvarado Skin Institute in La Mesa, California, down in the San Diego area, went, I want to try this mask. And so she owned obviously a med spa. And I went, wow, that's like, here's my chance. I went down there. She loved the mask. She tried it out on a few of her clients. And then she brought it on board as like a mineral rich anti-aging clay mask. Like there was no name, nothing. She just, so that was a big victory, a big victory that kind of like pushed me forward to thinking that I may have something. But at that time, though, I was going around town and going to smaller estheticians to maybe bring it on board and makeup artists to maybe bring it on board their kit. But I was getting no left and right. And so I was like, all right, it was helping me. My whole goal was to get back to the entertainment industry. And I was doing that and I was happy. But then, so I also wanted to work for Dave at Bulletproof, Dave Asprey.
Okay, yeah. So in fact, that's how I found out about you because I'm in his kind of in the private, mentorship group, and he's the one. I think it was an interview I listened with you guys, and then talking about it within his private coaching program, and and I love Dave. I've probably purchased 99% of what he has recommended because I'm also my own biohacker.
Right.
So that's how I found the brand through Dave.
So my mom. I idolized him. I idolized his attention to detail with, single heirloom cacao powder. Like his detail and precision with cleanliness of ingredients into his coffee, chocolate, cacao butter back then, MCT, you name it. I found out the Bulletproof contact form. It was info@bulletproofexec. And I went, his name's Dave Asprey. Like at this point I was tweeting him like, hey, I'm working on this clay mask. Thanks a lot. Your products help get me back into what I love. Like none of them, maybe I get a like here and there. But I troubleshooted his email address, d.asprey, David, Asprey, and just copy pasted the same email with like before and after pictures of me in the ICU and me in like Men's Health Magazine going, dude, you got me back. Thank you. But I wanted to work for Bulletproof. One of those emails went through and they brought me on board as an ambassador. So I got product and I was taking pictures and just explaining the benefits because I never drank coffee and then drinking coffee.
I didn't either until last year. A year ago in January, I'm a lifelong tea drinker. It was Bulletproof coffee. In fact, it's still, even when I drink something else, I try it. It doesn't, it's got to be Bulletproof coffee.
The cleanliness, it just hits me different than, say Starbucks or Coffee Bean. And I just really trusted it. And it also motivated me and really helped me in my recovery. So I really just appreciated him. And so they brought me on board as an ambassador. And then I got an email because I started to post and maybe they got a little bit more familiar. Like, whoa, this guy, was in a big accident or whatever. But, and so maybe they started to, I don't know, you'd have to ask them, but they invited me to be on Bulletproof Radio February 1st, 2014, a little less than a year after I sent that email out. And so there I was just across from Dave and just basically sharing how I use the Bulletproof products in my recovery to motivate me and just cleanse out the system, get my vitality back. But also, luckily, he asked what I did for my skin because we didn't talk about it. Like we didn't go about, talk about it going into the podcast. And then, so he asked what I did for my skin. And I just started flowing on the ingredients. I think I gave out my personal email address and we just at that time, it was like one of the top podcasts on iTunes. I think he was like back and forth with Jillian Michaels at one of the top nutrition, health related podcast spots on iTunes. And so, yeah, I mean, he got such a response, and so did I. I mean, he flew down to LA, shot another podcast, and then he gave me a deadline, June 26, 2014. We had a bulletproof approved skincare product on his site. And so then we just pretty much, it's been go since then. Yeah.
Product, the clay mask, was that what?
Well, I mean,
okay. And what was it called at the time?
Golden. I mean, just trying to come up with a name really quickly. I mean, so forgive me for this first one. It was Golden Glow, 2 G's, no W, but all one word, G's capitalized. And then I took it back to the drawing board and wanted something a little bit more artistic and having, a symbolic element to it. And that's where Alitura comes from, as far as like feeding and nourishing. It's Latin for feeding and nourishing. Your skin being your largest organ. I thought like that's just, the mantra. You want to treat it like another mouth, and so it's just a lot of, that's it during my research, because I couldn't afford the creams and serums that the doctors were recommending that I use to counteract the scarring and abrasions that I had. And I didn't even want to isolate the little decimal point of an active ingredient that they had in their formulas either, because I didn't know what it was. I just didn't trust it. In the past, I had always used natural remedies. Cacao butter had been my thing all the way up, like just a chunk of cacao butter. You use your natural body temperature to kind of like warm it up and get it, viscous, so you're able to spread it out. But cacao butter, I knew I had in my back pocket. Beeswax, sea buckthorn. I've been really.
So what does cacao butter do? Because I know you use it. What just that alone?
Extremely nourishing. It's hydrating. And also the reason why I got that was that way back. There was this Palmer's cacao butter that women would use for stretch marks. And I went, wait a minute. I isolated the cacao butter part of that because I didn't trust the fragrance and all that other. And I just went, and I really saw deep results. There's something that it does just right along the under eye area, the softness, smoothness, and it really sticks around. It doesn't just dissolve into your skin. It's there hydrating and nourishing that area. So I knew I wanted to have that, as well as beeswax. I mean, I just would experiment with a lot of different extracts, plant extracts, butters, for just to see. I mean, while I was mixing up my tonic to put through a straw in my back of my mouth. I mean, I was just seriously just self-experimentation of using some of the ingredients that were so nourishing internally and revitalizing internally. Why not experiment with that externally as well? I mean, with Chinese herbs, a lot of things didn't work, but American ginseng did, freshwater pearl powder did, first 4-hour milky grass-fed colostrum did. I mean, when you're there and you have 24 hours in a day, and you don't want to go outside. I mean, you have nothing but time. I'm extremely curious in a person. I just use myself as my biggest science experiment. And I was seeing results very quickly. I'm lucky that I was 29 at the time. They say youth, and I was healthy. Youth, you have an advantage of that. So our bodies have an amazing ability of repairing itself. So I also want to give that credit. And it's not like all the products, but man, I don't know. I mean, there's just.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I get a lot of pushback, and I think that what you said something. I want to expand on that for a moment because, yes, products are amazing, and I think yours are incredible, and they can do so much. But and I think that we need to, I feel like I need to educate my social media family or anyone that I'm coaching, or is that it also is a lifestyle and a commitment. Just to say this one cream will change your life and everything, when someone looks at my face and says, oh, what do you do? It is a full-time job. And I say that with love and grace, and I love this job. But if you want to look your best, it will never just be a cream or a supplement. It is a totality of how we live our life. I am convinced of that. I've tried it either way. And I feel like I look and feel my best, aside from menopause stuff, than at 53 than I ever did in my younger years, when I should have been at my absolute prime in certainly in physical and inner feeling.
Just side note, you look incredible. And so it's
I do a lot of work to it. I do a lot of work. So, but so not to discount your products, but I agree. It's it's beautiful. Your whatever you're using, I say this to anyone out there, whatever you're using, whatever product, whatever supplement, you will do yourself so much. You'll have a much better result if you just jump on board and work on your lifestyle and your diet, on your sleep, on all of those things, then that cream that you love or that is going to look
holistic for sure. Movement, community, sunlight, sauna, diet, supplementation. I mean, there's just, you're right. I mean, there's so much that goes into it.
You're right. Instead of us pushing against it, it's like, why not work with the product instead of trying to be like, oh, I drank all night, I look like crap, let me put on this cream. Maybe we start dialing that back, and then, like I said, it just gets better. So at any rate, this was your first product. Then you went back to the drawing board. You were your own experiment, creating these products that work. What was the next thing in line? And also, did is this yours yourself, this brand? Do you have
no? No. This is me. I formulate all the products. Luckily, I got put in touch with an elite team of chemists that really responded to what I was doing. I mean, because that part of it is extremely difficult. Finding a manufacturer that's on board with your precision and with the ingredients that I'm using, you can't shortchange them. And I found that out very quickly. I think I went through 13 meetings with manufacturers trying to find people that would co-pack and mass produce my clay mask. And with my sourcing, Jing Herbs, Synertech for my colostrum, those are very easy to point out. I mean, you can go find cheaper alternatives on Alibaba and other places. It's just, unless you're in that room watching them produce it, or if you have that connection, regardless if it's in writing or not, you don't really know what they're doing. You have to have that bond with your manufacturer and your team members.
Where
the mask is manufactured in Nevada, because I didn't want them to radiate the clays. In California, there's some law where they would have to zap the formula. So I wanted to go outside of California, started exploring Sedona initially, couldn't find anything here, which is interesting. Now that I'm here, this is years ago, obviously, but who knows? Big picture, I would like to manufacture, but I found a manufacturer that was recommended to me, and I met with him. It's a family-run business. It's Botanic Beauty Products in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I really appreciated them because they only did creams and lotions and liquid products. I went down, believe it or not, he had someone, he had heard of Alitura before. I'm not sure how, but he had someone bring him the mask, trying to reverse engineer it. And so it was that happened, by the way. Imagine that, sitting down. Anyway, so we had some familiarity with it. And then that's what really is the magic between that situation. There was a big connection there. He made a device specifically for me. He only makes one powdered product, and that's ours. And that's clay. Yeah, I mean, it's like going there, meeting with people face to face, and really getting that deep connection. Like, I have 8 different manufacturers for all of our products. Normally there's just one. I mean, you can't be great at everything, number one. Number two, like, I formed these different bonds with different manufacturers because of their expertise in one, like Emily out in Rain Shadow. She's an oil whisperer. She makes Santal Black. She's amazing, right? And Susan Raffy at SRC Consulting, they make our cleanser, Meteorite scrub, deodorants. Probably going to be making our shampoo as well as Presence, our fragrance, and Pro Cleanser. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but her, when you sit down, you get, I just found people manufacturers and chemists that really just bought into me and like what I was doing, because it's a lot different. I don't go in with like a profit margin and a number to hit. And I'm creating magic from a blank canvas based on my research and what I want in my products, regardless of what everybody else is doing, because what I'm seeing is just it. Well, especially when I was first starting this, there was always some type of hole in products. Now it's getting better, but I mean, whether it's a government recognized carcinogen, fragrance, filler, a preservative, something that doesn't serve the skin, why is it in there? To make the products more profitable. I get it, but man, people will come in droves if you give them passion, like just something that not only solves the problem, but something that, if you go to a farmer's market, you see someone, someone that really cares and can explain the process of how they grew their vegetables, took the time to bring something to the table. I mean, you'll take a chance, and if it's amazing, then you let the customers be your biggest form of marketing. We do things a lot different,
I agree. I think we're in the stage and day of really, it is about customer. It's relationship. Everything is relationship. I want to know and like. I want that story. Like there's nothing better. I mean, there's nothing better than having an amazing story, an amazing mission and passion, along with a product that absolutely works. And to have it clean, you're right, is incredible. And there's a lot of people that are doing it. It's getting better, but I think it's still a needle in a haystack. Even if you've got some products that are clean and nice, but that there's clean and nice and they're good, and then there's clean and nice and they work amazing. And that's where I think your products sit. I want to talk a second about, there's 2 products that I absolutely love. My daughters, Their favorite is the moisturizer. They're 19 and 21. My favorite of the moisturizers is absolutely the night cream. I'm, in the desert, super dry skin, menopause, dry. And this is smells like honey.
Yeah.
It is very thick. I'm telling you, put this on at night, especially, I find it even more so in the winter. Put this on at night. And I do this at least
Yeah.
2 nights of my week, because I kind of rotate things out. And it is divine, but literally it smells like you could eat it. And then of course your gold serum, which is, I can put this on and literally my skin glows. I put it on before makeup. I put it on if I'm running out the door and not wearing makeup. It smells amazing. Talk to me about the scents. Okay. It's like,
I mean, that's the number one thing is fragrance is probably the biggest culprit in carcinogens. And the messed up thing is you can label something natural fragrance and it's so confusing and misleading to the consumer. And that's the thing, you can get such a beautiful aroma through natural organic cold pressed botanicals, chamomile, lemongrass, ylang ylang, or some clary sage. There's just so many beautiful, Andaroba, Prakashi, Bariti.
I have to say to you, so again, I am fortunate. I get to try a lot of different, I've always loved skincare and makeup. So I've always been, a purchaser of things, now being able to be, an influencer of sorts online, they're all good, but that really make a big difference. And the smells of Alitura, there is another brand that sent me something a few days ago, and they're organic, smaller brand, is a serum. And I have to tell you, Andy, I tried it and I was so overwhelmed by this scent. I wanted to weep. It felt, the texture, the smell, all of that. And I sent a private message and said, I don't know if I've ever done this before. And literally between that brand and yours are the only two that I am aware of in my stock of probably, 30, 40, 50 different brands that have the scent, the texture, the feel, the experience, I should say, the experience that comes from that is different than the others. And I know not only is it the effectiveness of the products, but I believe it's that, the texture, the feel, it's the scent. And you're right, you can't have a scent, a fake scent is not what we're talking about. And I believe the reason I'm so drawn to it, because I've got plenty of products that have fake fragrance in them that have a scent, that it's a nurturing, we know when we smell roses that are cut right here versus here's a rose spray that's, got from fragrance. It is an absolutely different visceral, like I can feel it down in every cell of my body when I use something that comes from Mother Nature. I
can too. I completely agree. I mean, when I get into certain cars or even if I'm around people with, an overwhelming fragrance, it can be, it damages your endocrine system to so much hormonally, damage hormonally. And then over time, something that you're doing daily, I just feel like it accelerates aging, and so also we can find so many beautiful aromas. And then when combined, that's the fun part is just finding the synergy between, say, rose and a Madagascar vanilla, and then like a little clary sage and maybe some tropical elements to it. But that's why it takes forever. The moisturizer was 22 tweaks. That's 21 phone calls that I made to my manufacturer. Normally, I don't know, it's around 5. It just depends on how much you care and how precise you want to be. But yeah, it takes time and you have to test it. You want a broad base. You want something that can, you don't want to create like customer confusion with the dry skin, normal, oily. That's why it's the moisturizer, the gold serum, the night cream, the clay mask. We want to just have one and knock it out of the park for all skin types. And we feel like we've done that.
Right. I think that's a great point, Andy, because my daughters both have, they're on the backside, thank God, but they had really bad bouts with acne, and really bad. And I, again, on the opposite spectrum, have the super dry. And aside from me using the night cream, all the other products, we all together, they work perfectly and help heal their acne is also, but also are ideal for me at a 53-year-old, skin. So interesting because most brands, as you know, will have, this is our line, our, nothing to knock it, but you don't have that. And what I can say from my experience, my family has, their skin and, cystic acne and super dry. We've been using the same product.
That's awesome.
With great results.
And if you notice a lot of other brands where the ingredient decks are very similar of normal, dry, oily, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just honest to me personally, but I get teach their own. Yeah, it's business. You meet more chemists, you meet people that are more in line and also in the route that we're going. We have a team of chemists now working with me when we're doing a full hair care line, all the lines mean, it's just, it may take a little while, but it's fun. I mean, yeah, it's a whole different way of construction and formulating products. I mean, that at least how I do it. It's just step by step, finding the emulsion, the aroma that you want to go with, the direction. You don't have to just knock it out and get it in the store to sell. You need to know every part of it. You know what I mean? Every single part of it, and it has to just work. It has to be perfect. I mean, the formulation part of it is sacred to me for sure.
Right. So you got hairline next, and what are some of give me a couple of maybe stories that you've heard from clients that are really, is there anything that sticks out that really touches your heart?
Olivia,
like, wow.
for sure. Yeah, she came to me. Well, I spoke 2017 at the 17 or 18 at the Upgrade Labs in Santa Monica. There were probably 50 people there.
Okay.
I mean, Olivia had one of the worst cases of cystic acne that I've ever seen. She's on our website. She's also on Instagram if you want to check that out. I felt awful, man. And so she came up to me right after I spoke, and it's a real delicate, situation. What do you say? Hey, how are you? I mean, she wasn't wearing makeup to cover it up. I think she had just worked out, but she went, what can you do? I need help. And so her and I went, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? It was just one of those like connections just right across from each other. And so from that point on, we just went step by step just coming together on a recipe and formulation and treatment routine that can help her. And you, just whoever's watching this, please go check her page out. It's Olivia Rosal, OLI, Cuban Olive, CUBANOLIVE, Cuban Olive. She is a godsend. She actually ended up working with us. She's still with us. Yeah, she came to the booth last year. 2 years ago at the Orlando conference, Upgrade Labs, and just sharing her story.
How long did it take her? How long did it take her to? I mean, obviously, she probably was dealing with the cystic acne for a long time. How long did it take you guys
a few months
to turn it around? And
a few months, and she has her whole routine documented. She shares her story very openly. Hey,
she was.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that is so awesome.
Julia Hogue. Yeah, there are quite a few, because I mean, it's just, because I just, you remember the initial stages, and just how delicate it is. It's a very crippling, situation to be in when you just look in the mirror and you're like, just makes your soul sink.
My daughters, both of them, and I have one that's actually, an actress in LA, and when hers was really bad, it went. The depression is real, and it's when you have to look at yourself in the mirror. I mean, that's something you can't get. Your face is something that you can't get away from. You can't hide it with clothes or, I think it's completely debilitating. And so I think you're right, to find a product that can actually help that, and that you see the results. You're giving somebody their life back. And I know it sounds like vain, but it's not. When you're someone that has that kind of thing on your face, it could be,
and especially at that transformational age, and like the adolescent stage, you're growing into your body, hormones are racing, friends and not friends, the bullying's rampant. I heard it all on that. I mean, yeah, that's a real big, in age and demographic that I want to have a big impact in, because I've been there. I just feel like I don't know how to do it though, but I mean, something similar of like the Proactive. My brother was on Proactive. Accutane is just wrong.
Oh my kids do Accutane, but they've got friends at Horror Stories, but they did the Proactive and all of that. What about say rosacea or other skin conditions? Have you seen improvement or help with that aside from
Pearl Cleanser specifically? With rosacea, it's tough with the clay mask. The Pearl Cleanser specifically has been very effective against rosacea specifically. It's not as harsh. The colloidal silver just helps at a bacteria level, antibacterial level, and it's not as harsh with, even though the clay mask could be, once you calm it down initially for a couple weeks with the Pearl Cleanser, then start to repair and pull out some of that with the clay mask. But with the Pearl Cleanser for sure would be a great assistance in mitigating rosacea. We've heard a lot of that. And then the moisturizer as opposed to the gold serum, because you want something not as reactive, but just a little bit more of a gentle lotion post cleanse.
Yes, so you're saying, so the gold serum, you think that's reactive? Is this reactive? I don't find that to be, I feel it's soothing.
Rosacea is a state where you're super reactive. And that with the active ingredients, what's that?
And I have rosacea, but honestly, I've been doing all these things. I haven't had a flare up in like
Yeah,
years because I've been really just mitigating all the stuff. But I have friends that have it that's very bad. Or like if
right.
I would drink wine, you get might get red sheet. But you're saying if you have an active case, then you might want to be more gentle using the
Yeah,
pearl and
profile
using the
cleanser,
moisturizer.
moisturizer, and then work your way into gold serum. I mean, it's medicine. It's healing. I wouldn't be surprised. It's got to be the B
Right.
products that we have in there. It's medicine. It's extremely healing. Every single day, I encourage people to go browse the reviews. It's magic. It's what keeps me. It's my coffee all day. Is the transformation, testimonials, reviews, stories, just all day long, unsolicited.
I said that's the best of all, and I think that's for me. Like once I heard about your products, then I purchased them myself. You were actually having a sale, and I bought a bunch for I bought a lot. It was like on sale. I'm like, this is the time to I went all in. So it's like normally someone would a normal person might just like buy one product to see. No, I even bought your little perfume, I even bought that. Like I bought the whole kit and caboodle because I just that speaks volumes to Dave. Saying like, I love this is what I use. This is what I use. I'm thinking if it's that clean, that high standard for him, even though he's not a skincare guy, but I'm thinking he's an ingredient guy. And really that's what, we probably need to be focusing a whole lot more on. And I loved it so much. I actually started reaching out to you guys. I'm like, hey, sending messages. I love you. So how can I be a part of this? So I kind of like not that I don't love when brands find me, but I love it even more that I did the work, found you, and had my own experience. My kids had their own experience. And that's why I wanted to it's been a long time coming that I wanted to get you on here and share you and your brand. Like I said, there are so many different brands and people say, well, you talk about this one or that one. I like, again, I get to use a lot of different things and I love, but I want to showcase those brands too that I think that are something special and different and unique. And I think you've created something beautiful. I love your story. I'm excited to see what you do with your hair brand, the hair products, and how Sedona, that magic maybe is even infused even more into what you do and your mission within your products.
Yeah, we're already kind of starting on the Sedona mist with purple sage, white sage, a little herba santa, rose absolute. We're going to be donating to a tribe out here too. I want to start working with the native population out here as well. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things. I really appreciate what you just said though. And you finding us and that's how it really got launched, was just sharing the story. And I didn't have a business background. It was a small staff, hiring friends, and now we have a team, but I strongly believe in what I'm doing. I know what's in my products, and it's just a matter of getting it out and sharing with, doing things like this is the reason why we can put more into our products and naturally just market organically through sharing our experience. You take what you want and leave the rest. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I understand that. It's up to us to just share the truth, take what you want, leave the rest, teach their own. It's a pretty, straightforward, transparent, it can be industry. And that's what we're all about,
I think this is much bigger than what you ever expected it to be. I think it's much bigger than, I think if you would just allow it. I'm getting like this download of stuff that's just coming that Andy, you're here for a reason. This brand is your vehicle, obviously. That as long as you have that giving nature that you truly seem to have and create, that you are doing so much good. And it's not about a brand, it's about service of giving people their life back. And I say their life back, and that sounds very dramatic when we're talking about skincare. But again, we have one body, this skin, which is our largest organ, as we know, and we have one body throughout this lifetime. And if we can take it and nurture it with so much grace and beauty, then all the better. We want to, this is, people treat their cars better than they do their body. They go and take cars in for service and not so I think your brand, you have the ability and the opportunity to just, create something. Even the evolution of this will just grow and grow if you stay grounded in that, and channel in that Sedona magic that's there. And I think it's beautiful. So
thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's 100% just how I feel coming from someone else. It really is. I mean, I strongly believe, I'm a hippie. I strongly believe that, the purpose of life is to be of service and to learn through experience and gain knowledge. And, but number one is to be of service to others, and that this is what I'm supposed to do. It's what I like doing, is encouraging, helping. others, not only feel better about themselves, but encouraging others of the possibilities. I mean, I never thought I'd be in skincare. I mean, but I can't imagine doing anything else, and
right, because it's not just skincare now, as we mentioned. It is so much. It is so there. It is so much more than that. The relationships, yeah, we say just skincare, but it's not. It is absolutely so much more than that. Really, it's beautiful and it's exciting, and I'm so happy for you. Please tell me where, aside from you're on Instagram at Alitura, where else can people find you? And I wanted to let my viewers know where they can find you. Also, do you have any specials or anything going on, or something special we can entice my social media family? And then also, if you were to recommend someone who's brand new to your products, because you've got a beautiful suite, small, nice suite of products, what would you say would be your recommendations, at least to kind of stick your toe in the water to try out your product? What would
the whole
those things
cleanse,
be?
exfoliate, hydrate, repair, meaning Pro Cleanser, Clay Mask, Gold Serum, Night Cream. Those are my 4 flat out game changers right there. That's the system. You do the Clay Mask maybe once a week. Sorry, by the way, there was some it just stopped and was fast forwarding. But we're here now. And
that's
sorry. Apologize for
yes.
that. But yeah, I mean, I would just say, those are the 4 right there. Those are, the weekly Clay Mask, maybe 1 to 3 times a week with that, just to maintain exfoliation. But yeah, Pro Cleanser, Gold Serum, Night Cream, Clay Mask. Those are the heavy hitters right there. A derma roller is a nice little instrument to open up the pores.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I have that.
And did we give you a code for your following, Silver Liberation?
You did. Oh, yes, you did. You gave me, thank you for reminding me, you gave me silver, what is it? Is it silver liberate? It's probably
20,
silver 15.
20% off. You can just call it. Do you want to call it silver? I can set it up right after.
I think it's silver 20. Let me look at my little. I should have known that. I think it. Let me see here. Let's just pull this up here. And then also, where can my family find you?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Andy Hnilo. Last name is Hnilo. Alitura right here on Instagram. Alitura on Facebook. Our website is alitura.com, alitura.com. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any skin issues, or if you need any advice, or just want to pick my brain on certain things. I eat, breathe, and sleep, just holistic routines, and I've been through quite a bit just with experimentation, so I feel like I have a good. Just call it silver. Do you want to call silver 20 across the board? And there we go.
Yeah, that's your you guys. So you see that silver 20 and get 20% off any of the products that you like. And like I said, I can't highly recommend them enough. They are beautiful. They smell amazing. They are really if you want an at-home spa experience, that's really, to me, what you're getting with Alitura.
I really appreciate you doing this.
Yes.
It's really good that to finally do this and that we're meeting. And yeah, you're an incredible example of the brand. Look at you. And we love just surrounding ourselves with people that live a very similar life and are into improving themselves. And I can tell you're into skincare, and so yeah, we just would love to continue to work with you and just spread the word.
I love it. I feel I think you need to do like a retreat, an Alitura retreat. I feel that calling my name.
I've definitely been thinking about that. So maybe we could partner with something like that. I mean, really, do have spaces?
That would be beautiful. Oh, I love it. We could bring all of it in. We could bring the meditation. We could bring the lifestyle. We could bring all of those things. I think it would be beautiful. I think, yes.
Let's do it.
Manifest that. All right. Well, have a fabulous Friday. Thanks so much. And you guys, silver 20 for 25 or for 20% off any of the products in Alitura. And
thank you all.
Until next time.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye, Andy.